Okay, here we go. So Renka on the bottom. He's opening up with the Paladin. And N-Dash going to start with the Warlock. I want to go ahead and mute the game. So Renka looks like he's going to have a really nice curve here.
I'll never tell.
He's going to go with the coin double one drops. Double Secret Keeper seems really strong. Next turn he has the Avenge if he wants to buff both of them, or he's got the option to drop the Knife Juggler. So really strong opening hand. Renka has the potential to curve out just super nicely. N-Dash, though, contrary to what we saw in the previous match, looks like he's running more of the hand lock variation as opposed to the zoo we saw from both players earlier. Renka picking up another secret, able to just make those secret keepers into super secret keepers down there, and just going to be really dominating early game presence. N-Dash doesn't have a whole lot of answers. He's got the Hellfire, but that doesn't even kill both of them. So instead of using a whole Hellfire just to clear one Secret Keeper and possibly pop an Avenge, which is pretty safe to say one of them is on his side. He obviously doesn't know for sure. I'm going to go over them real quick just for you guys. The Avenge and then the Redemption coming out here, so wouldn't have even done very much. It just would have made the board actually a little bit stronger. So gonna go ahead and avoid that tragedy. But N-Dash gonna continue to fight for the board here with the Twilight Drake. Only a 4/6, but it has enough attack to kill both minions on board, and not with the help of the weapon. So kind of an awkward situation here from Renka. He'd have to trade both minions into that if he wants to kill it. You can see where the Knife Juggler goes first. If he uses the hero power here and the Juggle hits the Drake, he's going to have a different decision on his hand. Going face just means that he's going to follow it up with the minions going face as well. If that attacks the Drake, he potentially cashes in one of those Secret Keepers, plays around AoE a little bit, and he's able to use his weapon to finish that off as well. But since it didn't, he's going to use the Demon Wrath here. Avenge is going to keep that minion in range of the Drake, and now able to deal with the board very nicely. N-Dash was. So now Renka just left with a 1/1 Secret Keeper from the Revenge coming out. So N-Dash is down to 15 health, or 13 now with that tap, but for the most part he was able to weather the storm. Ooh, this Blessing of Kings though is going to be painful. Renka didn't have much of a play aside from Muster for battle, which wouldn't have been the worst. Next turn he's got the Mysterious Challenger. He's going to go with the Muster instead. Set up a really big board, maybe bait out another AoE if N-Dash has it. Which he technically does have one. Ooh, Reno Jackson, a huge pickup here. Probably doesn't want to use it on this turn. He can be a little bit greedier with it if he wants to, but if he does, he's dead to the Blessing of Kings. 5 damage on board, Blessing is 4 more, the weapon is 1 more, that would be 10 damage exactly. So if he doesn't taunt up or heal in some manner, he would be dead on board. So feeling that out, N-Dash playing around the Blessing of Kings there. True Silver would not have been lethal, but as we saw here, the Blessing of Kings would have been enough damage. So now N-Dash with the, didn't want to see the Mysterious Challenger coming out. Let's hover over those secrets for you real quick. We got a Competitive Spirit, not surprising, the other Avenge, and finally a Noble Sacrifice. We didn't see a Noble Sacrifice earlier, so we knew that was going to be one of them. So N-Dash, always a good turn. These secrets take a long time for the animation to go off, so kind of deciding what you want to do early can be really key to navigating these secrets, especially if you're not 100% sure. But that Flame Imp going to set up the Shadow Flame and the Dark Bombeo to clear the board very nicely, going to prevent the Competitive Spirit from going off at all. So now N-Dash knows exactly what secret that is. He played around every single other one. So N-Dash able to navigate this really nicely due to the help of that Reno. That was huge in this matchup, getting that Reno Jackson, navigating it perfectly, not being greedy, preventing himself from dying on that turn. And now It appears to be N-Dash's game to lose. He's climbed his way back into it. And now he's got some taunts. Still kind of a little bit of an awkward turn, not super clean as he would have liked. He's got to decide which ones he wants to use and taunt up. Zombie Chow not terrible here because Rinka is only at 28 health, so giving your opponent the health bonus. Not too big of a deal. Rolls the 4 on the implosion. That could be huge. The little imps are phenomenal for picking off the 1/1 tokens or popping off divine shields. Second mysterious challenger, not terrible, not exactly what Rankin was hoping for. He'd like to see a Dr. Boom or a Tyrion right about now. Would be really nice for him. But he'll take that. This secret hit is pretty much got to be the second. Oh, he's only running one. So there's a noble sacrifice. Oh yeah, I forgot the competitive spirit went off. So I'll get off that train of thought real quick. The second noble sacrifice, generally secret paladins run 2 noble sacrifices to avenge, and this deck is not much different. He's not running the repentance. That's usually cut. Some people will tech it in one repentance, but not ranking. Pretty standard secret paladin list he's got going on here. And Dash sniffing that out very nicely, starting with rocking the noble sacrifice. And now we see the zombie chow going to come out like we talked about earlier. Not too worried about healing Rinka. So even though it's late in the game, it's still going to be able to get a decent amount of value in there. Now's the Tyrion we talked about earlier. And Rinka can really dictate these trades however he wants to. Oh, he's going to go straight to the face and set up lethal. If one of these minions survive for the Blessing of Kings, even if Tyrion dies, Rinka will have the weapon, so the weapon with the Mysterious Challenger plus the Blessing of Kings will be lethal. Unless N-Dash has something to say about it. He has the Twisting Nether, which could do it. So if he plays the Molten Giant, he is not going to Twisting Nether. So we'll see what he wants to do. He's got the Siphon Soul as a backup plan if he just wants to kill the Tyrion. But then he would be dead if that happens. Because he cannot do the Siphon Soul and the Earthen Ring Farseer. So Siphon Soul seems pretty tempting here, but it's not playing around a Blessing of Kings or a True Silver. No, I guess not a True Silver because of the Ashbringer, so I apologize for that. Realized my mistake really quickly. But Blessing of Kings. Oh, he's going to throw out the taunt as well, so that was I'd forgotten about that. So now, because of the sequence that N-Dash has, he was able to take the board really nicely, able to clear up the minions very effectively. So he navigated it perfectly. I made it a little bit more suspenseful than it actually was. Just to kind of hype it up a little bit, but N-Dash navigated it very nicely. And now, if he swings into that, what's the benefit to that? It's obviously putting it down to 2, using up one of your charges, but that's probably going to go for a trade here. And now, as we talked about earlier, N-Dash, looks like it's his game to lose yet again. N-Dash has some pretty nice trades here. And he can continue to flood the board with the Sylvanas and the Earthen Ring Farseer. So looking pretty good for him. He can clear the board. Using the Earthen Ring Farseer on the Molten Giant doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense because it still dies to Ashbringer just the same. So he sniffs that out perfectly and uses it to heal himself instead. Rinka gonna take the full 8 instead of keepering the Molten Giant first. He wants the Molten Giant one of these instead, or a keeper one of these instead. Obviously the Sylvanas if he throws it out there, or keeper his own guy. There you go. That seems to work pretty well. He's got the Ashbringer to kill the Sylvanas, and he can trade in a minion to the Earthen Ring Farseer. But the Sylvanas will steal one of those. So depending on how N-Dash trades in here, You can get one of those minions. Unless Renka really wants to trade both of them in. So there you go. Yeah, that's definitely a better play now that I think it all the way through. If the board stays as is, then Renka would want to trade both minions into the Sylvanas. Ooh, so buffing your opponent's minions so that the Sylvanas dies, guaranteeing stealing the Keeper. Really nice play there from N-Dashed. He's just going to continue to maintain the board, sitting at a pretty nice health total. 14 health, he's not dead to the weapon. And Dash doesn't have lethal, so he's still going to be on cleanup duty, otherwise he's dead to the board, so not too big of a task for him. He can easily clear these off. Not a bad drop for Renka, but still manageable. So Renka's trying to hang in there. This Dr. Boom, though, is probably going to seal the deal. Renka still feels like he has an out, which I guess he does if he's able to pick up a True Silver. Now that the Ashbringer has put in all the work that it can. N-Dash with 10-15 damage on board. 2 from hand, so he's a little bit off of lethal here. Power Overwhelming would have been enough. He doesn't draw into that. Tapping doesn't seem too great here unless he's going to clear the board. Who goes for the Boombot? That could have... a couple of Boombot high rolls to the face could have done it as well. He doesn't get very lucky on the first one. So we'll see how he wants to sequence this other one.
My shield for Argus. The victory is...
Okay, so there we go. Renka does not see a way out of it. We didn't either for a little while, but Renka was holding on to it until he saw the taunt. And then once he saw the taunt, he knew that True Silver was no longer an out. So Renka gonna take game 1, or I apologize, N-Dashed gonna take game 1 with the Warlock. So he will have to switch to his Druid or Mage. Renka still with the full arsenal. You see the classes on the left side of your screen there when they come up.